Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Yo, for some reason not sure what's going on with the stream deck, but doesn't seem to be connected. Yeah. So hold on, let me try to get my sound effects working. Well, I missed a couple days here, you guys. So kind of hoping you guys can help us get back on track. I got way behind with no electricity, etc. I wasn't able to upload anything. I tried using my phone. You know, I could stream the way you do with your phone, but that's about it. And thanks the Broken Scout, who's the scouting dude. Hello, anybody there? The chat looks like it's frozen. Let's see. I gotta try to get something working here. Yeah, so are you guys here? Is anybody there? Because I can't see any. The chat's just frozen up on me. I gotta close it down. Not sure what's going on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's so weird. I shut that chat down. Now there's another chat, and there's people saying stuff. How weird is that, huh? Thanks, Wise Child and Georgina Stoliker. Okay. Now that worked. But now I gotta, something just broke down right before the show started. But didn't want to be late, so I'm gonna start it up again. Yeah, my screen, it froze way up there. Like way up on, let's see, it was, gosh, I don't even know. I mean, probably somewhere up like halfway, way above the last two super chats for sure. It just wasn't moving at all, and so I just shut it down and then opened it back up again. Okay, so I got that open. Now let's see if the no. Man. My Stream Deck thing doesn't work anymore. Unfortunately. That makes the sound effects. I guess I'll have to fix that later. I don't know if it's not plugged in or... I mean, it is. I see the lights on, but it's not populating. So, don't know. Have no idea. Thanks, Christy B. and Eugenie. So I'm not going to be able to use, not that I use them all the time, but the sound effects aren't working. Thanks, Timothy Cecil. Yeah, I'm kind of relying on you guys to help get us back on track, missing a couple days. So if we can, just have a decent night in here, that'd be good, just to kind of make up for something. I tried to do a show earlier today. That one did okay near the end. I had to reduce the goal so that we could get to the goal. I mean, I sort of defeated the point of the goal, but we reached the switched over goal. Yeah, it's weird how they always seem to go to their correct bed most of the time. Blue's always going to blue, and she's always going to the pink one, even though I don't think they can see color, right? I mean, I don't know. Are dogs colorblind? I don't remember now. Well, thanks, Karen. Cool. Yeah, it sucked not being able to do shows, Yeah, just another small crowd, it looks like, again, though. I don't know what to do to help get it, but that's just the lot in life I get. I don't know how to get more people to show up here, to be honest with you. Hey, thanks, the Broken Scout, for the heat, he said. Yeah, I do have electricity came back on yesterday at some, this morning at 8 in the morning. That's right. Congrats on the shout out. Yeah, isn't that cool? And guess what though? So here's the thing. Let me show you something here. I gotta show you this just so you can see what kind of crap you deal with here. Watch this. Yeah, so it was on Reddit, the place where they posted it. And somebody came on there and said, let's see. Maybe they got rid of it. Let's see. Hopefully. Adina. Oh yeah, I gotta go to comments here. Huh. Yeah, it looks like the person who came in, they tried to disparage. They go, well, you should have picked somebody else, man. He's so mean to, or whatever the hell they always say. It's just unbelievable. But it was cool. I read the comments, and Misty was in there defending it. Because here's the thing, like, the shows that they come on, maybe it's twice a month. I maybe bring in $500 or something after YouTube takes their portion on those nights, right? But I give them $2,000 or $3,000 most months. I've only been able to give them one and then two last month because it's accumulation. It's also from my ad revenue. I mean, the thing is, you guys, it's from all the revenue. Ad revenue and super chats and membership. So that's why I'm able to give more than what they might bring in on a if they were on the show or something. Like usually when they come on the show, when Identifinders comes on, it's some of the, like the worst nights for super chats because everybody's listening and they aren't really thinking about that part. And so, I still give them a ton of money because it's all from a big chunk of the money that comes in. But somebody came on there and just was like, blasting And apparently it looks like maybe they're gone. They removed their comment. Let's see. Yeah, they're straight from the Hell group. But anyways, it was cool that Misty defended. That was very cool. Hey, thanks, Chris22. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so what'd you guys do when I wasn't around? I mean, believe it or not, Gray, we had a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, right now we only have 194 people watching the show, so it's already gotten off to a struggling start right out of the gate. Yeah, you were bored? Yeah. Awesome. All right, we'll just go to the stories here. Who cares? NFL, schmenFL, Jesus Christ. I haven't watched an NFL game in 10 years. I really couldn't give two shits about the NFL. I got to be honest with you. It's just, Australian rules football is a hell of a lot more entertaining. It's constant action. They hit each other harder, and they don't have all the pads on. And the NFL, you can probably make the game 8 minutes long at the very end if you just got rid of all the crap in between plays. And why does the clock tick away when nobody's doing anything? Like, what a ridiculous concept that is. Anyways, Gray, I love the NFL. Screw you. I'm not watching ever again, you bastard. See you later. Hey, thanks, Danielle. Danielle Vasayo, right? Vasayo, something like that. I'm not even grouchy, Gretchen. That's what I think. I think the NFL is so boring. I mean, you literally sit there for 20 freaking minutes between each play. That's why I like the NBA, because it keeps moving. But I understand, like, if you live in a place that has an NFL team, maybe if we had an NFL team in Portland, I'd care. I know all the rules. I know how it works. I know all the different, penalties, everything. I don't know. It's not my gig, I guess. Hey, happy you're back. Miss you. Oh, thanks. Well, I miss you guys too. It's like you're so used to hanging out with the same people every day. It's kind of weird. All right, let's just start off with the right here. Hold on, move this over there. Yeah, so we got Richard Allen's back in the. I mean, I just want to, So what's weird to me is it feels like the new attorneys are trying to step right into the same flow, and now I'm pretty sure they're going to start talking about Odinism and all that crap too. Even though one of his attorneys, now his attorney's going to have to work double hard because he's one of the ones that was on a news outlet when he wasn't an attorney for Richard Allen, saying, "Oh yeah, God, that evidence is so strong against him," and now he's his attorney. So he's going to have to try to overcome some of that.
Happy you're back. We missed you.
So attorneys for the man accused of murdering two teenage girls in Delphi more than 6 years ago have filed a motion to request he be transferred from the prison he was moved to just months ago. Yeah, see, he's getting, all these things are done for him, and he just wants to keep being moved around. I mean, what does this guy think he is? Diva or something? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because you got all these wacko people on YouTube and social media that just love Richard Allen, because he had nothing to do with it, everybody. Richard Allen is the most innocent man in the history of true crime. He is amazing. Oh, except for the fact he said he was on the bridge wearing exactly the same clothing that the guy on the bridge had, and he also showed up exactly when he said he showed up at 1:30, and then he got on the trail and he was standing on platform 1 exactly where a lady saw him just moments before Abby and Libby walked by and would have ran into him, and then he follows him across the bridge wearing exactly the same clothing, and then it just goes on and on. Why would he do that though, Gray? Yeah, him and Brian Koberger should start a club. The two most unlucky people on the planet. Wow. See, the thing is Koberger, the people that support Koberger, or the idea that, oh, he's totally innocent, are just as idiotic as the people in the Delphi case who say the same thing. And in fact, there's a crossover group. Like somehow there's just this miracle that two people that have every single thing pointing at them, except for the horns that didn't exist, the antlers that didn't exist. Don't forget that. They're just absolutely innocent, even with that. It's crazy. Yeah, I know who all those people are. The Discord people on the Delphi case that think they're just so sleuthy and great. They're just ridiculous people, okay? All of them. They don't have a clue what they're talking about. Now, one thing I don't like is during this issue right here, the murder sheet came out again and scolding people that are conspiratorial and try to sort of run the case. That's exactly what you guys have done the entire time, you hypocrites. You guys are the biggest hypocrites on the face of the earth. And even if I agree with you on that, you are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. You guys have fostered 90% of the conspiracy theory shit, and you started the other 10%. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I think you started 10% of it, and you fostered another 10% or 20, 30, 40. I don't even know, man. It is crazy. Like your podcast early on, and then your defense of the defense team and your comments about, and really sort of like taking the ball and running with it with the Odin stuff and trying to like explaining it like, yeah, wow, that's interesting. That's really interesting. No, it's not interesting, okay? See, an intelligent person would immediately say, no, it's not interesting. Because it's just goofball, wacky crap, right? They've already looked into the Odinism stuff. Yeah, instead, whenever you give credit to something by going, yeah, no, it's interesting. See, this guy, no, it's not, man. As soon as you said it was interesting, now you got other people because they perceive you as being sort of more knowledgeable, and you're just not, and the thing, can you imagine? Wow. They're literally telling people you can't be. There's these people out there that are conspiratorial and they're so, they just think that they're kind of running the show and they're sleuthy. Oh my God, man. Can you say hypocrite? Yeah. Anyways, it says attorneys for the man accused of murdering 2 teenage girls in Delphi more than 6 years ago have filed a motion to request to be transferred from the prison he was moved to just a month ago. Our sister station, WTHR, reports that Robert C. Scremin, a William Labrado, who were appointed to Richard Allen by Special Judge Francis Gould on October 23rd, filed a motion Friday. The motion comes 1 month, and I would have reported on this back then, but, weather didn't permit. Allen was moved from the Westville Correctional Facility in LaPorte County to the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility in Sullivan County. In the filing, Allen's attorneys cited the following. The attorneys claim Allen is not being treated similar to other pretrial detainees who are held in county jails. Allen's attorney cited the distance of travel and visitation conditions of the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility as seriously, if not fatally, impacting the attorneys from being able to effectively represent him. So that's really the answer, right? You guys don't want to have to drive far to go visit Richard Allen, so you're going to go ahead and claim that he's not being treated the same. But on the side, it's a fatally impacting the attorneys from being able to effectively represent him. His attorneys are requesting he be transferred either to Allen County Jail or the Adams County Jail. Allen is accused of killing Abby and Libby in Delphi back in February 2017. Is this the, let's see, is this the new one? Yeah, January 12th. Let's see what it says. Richard Allen is currently being held in pretrial detention at the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, a maximum security state prison, after visiting with Mr. Allen at both the Westville Correctional Facility and the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. It is the council's belief that 1, Mr. Allen is not being treated similar to other pretrial detainees. 2, pretrial, we've already read that part. And the facts: on November 3rd, 2022, the state of Indiana filed a motion on behalf of the sheriff of Carroll County asking the court to transfer Richard Allen to the custody of the Department of Corrections, claiming that due to this being a high-profile case, the Carroll County Sheriff could not adequately provide Mr. Allen with necessary security. On April 5th, 2023, Mr. Allen's former counsel filed an emergency motion to modify a safekeeping order, essentially a motion to transfer Mr. Allen to a county jail. I have reviewed counsel's motion, and although I lack personal knowledge to vouch for all of the allegations made, as Mr. Allen, the present counsel, I believe it to be a meritorious motion, and based upon 25 years of practicing law, I agree that Mr. Allen is not being treated similar to other pretrial detainees in county jails, and that his pretrial incarceration at a distant state prison severely impacts counsel. Well, doesn't he always have to be treated differently because of what he did? I think if you put him in, the public with all the other inmates, knowing that he's killed two, a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old, that puts himself in danger. So they're trying to protect him. And he's the one, by the way, that wanted to be transferred the first time. He's the one that suggested it originally. And then he never likes where he ends up going. On April 14th, the court denied prior counsel motion, and Mr. Allen remains in the custody of the Department of Corrections. On April 28th, the court received a letter written by an inmate at Westville Correctional Facility alleging that Mr. Allen was being abused and mistreated. Right. And then number 5, on September 18th, 2023, prior counsel filed a motion for Frank's hearing in support of their previously filed motion to suppress. Prior counsel included 136 pages. Oh, God, you're talking about that? Memorandum with 126 confidential exhibits. The memorandum and exhibits, among other things, allege prison guards said, they're going to go down the Odinist route here. Oh, God. Were allowed to wear patches on their official uniforms supporting Odinism, and that crime scene photos suggested a potential connection to Odinism, a Nordic religion and or cult that has been associated both in the prison system and in society in general with white supremacy. After reviewing crime scene photos and visiting Mr. Allen at Westville Correctional Facility, present counsel believes these claims have merit. Oh, God. On October 27, 2023, this court appointed attorney Robert, but he's not like a race. Like a minority. What does he care? You know, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, what does it have to do with Richard Allen? Fort Wayne is approximately 106 miles from Westville Correctional Facility, a 2-hour drive. Fort Wayne is approximately 233 miles from Wabash Correctional Facility. And, yeah, so they're talking about the length there. On November 19th, counsel visited with Mr. Allen. So this is after the 2 new attorneys. They visited him at Westville Correctional Facility. The visit was an arduous process which included lengthy travel, complicated and protracted prison security procedures, and difficult visitation conditions. Throughout our legal consultation, Mr. Allen remained uncomfortably and unnecessarily shackled and chained in a manner resembling Hannibal Lecter. Jesus. While guards watched through glass panels and the door ajar. Hannibal Lecter. Really? Did he have the little thing over his face too? And Allen clearly appeared intimidated by the guards and was hesitant to speak freely with counsel. Although none of the prison guards were wearing patches in support of Odinism, one of the guards did have a symbol, face tattoo of Odin's spear and multiple... Oh, God. Yeah, so these guys are going to go down that route. And by the way, everybody, if you guys could please help support the channel, we got 2 days behind here. You need to have a couple good nights in a row to sort of make up for some of that, if at all possible. If you're somebody out there that can't afford to help support the channel, then don't worry about it. But if you can and have the ability to and want to help support my channel, that'd be great. Okay, I don't like to have to bring it up all the time, but it seems like sometimes we get in these long patches where it's just sort of like, oh yeah, and then I remind people, because the only way that we're able to do the stuff that we do at the end of the month is if you guys are supporting the channel, and allows me actually to make an income to keep doing the show. You are a huge part of why I'm able to do the shows every single night of the week. All right, so I hope you guys understand your importance and helping me keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, we gave $55,000 or $6,000 last year to charities. Our scholarship fund is fully funded, and we've already got something like, I don't know, 250, 300 applications for the 2 $3,000 scholarships. And I got a bunch of people working through and reading those. All right. So, that being said, that's all I got for you. If you can help out, that'd be great. If not, hit the like button, do something. Mr. Allen stated that Westville guards were intimidating and reluctant to provide him with shower and recreational access. On 12/22, counsel visited Mr. Allen at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, where Mr. Allen had recently been moved without consulting counsel. The road trip, drive, and visit took over 10 hours to complete. Prison staff indicated they did not have any type of visitation rooms for counsel to use because they were not equipped for such matters, but had fashioned a visitation room in some sort of prep kitchen with the prison housing unit. 13, counsel was taken to Mr. Allen, who was locked in a prison cell located within the kitchen. The cell appeared to be designed as a place to feed prisoner. The cell had a solid iron door with a small hinged iron flap. That's kind of weird though, right? Well, I guess that fell on deaf ears. Jesus. 8 inches high, that opened just far enough to slide food tray through. This iron flap was left open, and it was through this small opening that we were allowed to see Mr. Allen and speak with him. A folding table was set up approximately 6 feet from the cell door with 3 chairs on the far side of the table. We were instructed to sit in the chairs and not to approach Mr. Allen or come within 6 feet of the cell door. The arrangement made it impossible to show Mr. Allen any videos or documents or discuss the case with him without raising our voices, almost shouting. In 25 years of practice, law in 5 states, including representing numerous defendants charged with murder, I have never had to conduct an in-custody legal consultation in this fashion. The prison's visitation arrangement created an environment where I mean, that sounds so almost like it's unbelievable, right? It just doesn't sound, you know. Mr. Allen stated that in the 2 weeks that he had been at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, he had not received or even been offered any recreational time, and he believed he had taken 1, possibly 2 showers, and he had not been allowed outside in the prison yard, although other inmates enjoyed outdoor recreation. Enjoyed? Yeah. In 25 years of practice law, I've never had to conduct an in-custody legal visit in the manner I have with Mr. Allen. I routinely conduct legal visits within the jails in Allen, Adams, Huntington, Rudolph, and Wells counties, including consultations with numerous clients charged with murder. There is never a guard present during the consultation, and there is never audio or video equipment recording the visit. My clients are never shackled, handcuffed, or changed during visits. They are clearly state prison policies, not county jail policies. I'm often able to simply sit at a table with the clients and have a conversation, but at the very least, I'm able to sit directly across from the client and speak. Hey, thanks, Raymond. Appreciate it. I thought nobody heard what I just said a minute ago. Thank you very much. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, it sucked. You know, you miss a couple days, and you know, you're used to seeing the same people all the time, and then you're just kind of wondering what the hell you're supposed to. It really sucks not having power, you know, because you're just sort of standing around, you know, basically relying on your cell phones. And then it finally came back on. Well, no, the power came back on yesterday. It was my internet that came back on at 8 this morning, not the power. Yeah, so at least we had power. So I figured out some crazy thing, like the Blazer game. I mean, they have such stupid rules. But I was trying to watch the Blazer game here in Portland, but I don't have cable, so you can't watch it. So then I tried to use my cell phone to watch it using Xfinity. You know, you can watch live streaming, but you have to use the network at your house. So if you don't have Wi-Fi at your house, you're out of luck. But I remember I bought NBA TV early in the year, and then you go to NBA TV and it says, you can't watch the game in your local area. So then I thought, wait a minute, I've got a work computer that has a VPN on it. So I signed in to the NBA app on my work computer with a VPN that goes through like New York or something. And now NBA thought I lived in New York, and I was able to watch the Blazer game on a laptop through my cell phone's hotspot. It was crazy, man. Hotspot and a VPN. So how do you like that? And then I finally figured out how to cast YouTube to my television. Yeah, it's so cool. I didn't realize you could do that. So using my, what was I doing? Oh yeah, just my cell phone, watching Netflix. Then I just cast it to our huge TV. You know, the TV, well, it's not huge, the one in the bedroom. And we're just watching TV. You know, all these little weird things. As long as you have the cell phone working, you can still try to do something. Oh yeah? That's cool, Lisa. Yeah, I just sort of figured out how to do this stuff. I think it would work with the karaoke. You know, you got to do the YouTube, cast to the television, then connect the television to the karaoke box thing that we got. And then that would play the audio, and then with the mics and everything. So what's the conclusion? You already did that. Yeah, I mean, if all this is true, it's crazy. Like, right? I mean, if he's like, every single time the lawyers try to talk to him, they're recording it. They've got a guard standing by. They can only speak to him through like a slit in the door in the kitchen. I mean, that is pretty crazy if that's the reality. You know? I mean, I would just let him keep moving every time he wants to move, to be honest with you. Just so there's no complaints later. Just make arrangements. Every time he wants to move, just move him again. Yeah, I have a YouTube app on my television too, but that only works if... See, here's the thing. If you have a YouTube app on your TV and then you use the Wi-Fi on your phone, for some reason that's way worse, like buffering, than if you just have your phone and then you cast to your television. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody has YouTube on their television nowadays with the smart TVs and everything. Yeah, well, it actually worked though pretty good. I mean, the rules they have out there, Nicky Zubs, are crazy for the... Yeah. Well, I mean, because he's probably being treated the way he's supposed to be treated. Amber. Yeah, just like normal. I just use I have a phone, and I think I was doing the same thing earlier here. Casting to my television. Nope, there he goes. I can see it. I think I'm going to have to put it I'm not sure what's going on. There's a lot of errors going on with my... Right now we are at about 51% of the goal tonight. It doesn't show up on the screen, so we're not there. And you got to try to beat the goal because we missed 2 complete days there. The like button is free. Yep. Hit the like button, subscribe. Hit the join button if you want. Let's see. There's one more. I don't know if there's anything different in this one, but in the motion filed on Friday, Scremin and Vibrato said that their offices are located in Fort Wayne, which was around 106 miles to the Westville Correction Facility. And they mentioned the differences. This looks about pretty much the same. Hey, thanks, Valerie H. Karma, good evening. Yep. I'm trying to figure out what karma I affected. Yeah, I think his trial now is this October. So they extended it out a year. It was going to start soon. It kind of makes you wonder why they have... I mean, if it's true that they have these microphones on them, I wonder if they are still kind of worried about their case then. I mean, it's like, you're trying to catch him in something. You've already got him confessing one time, but why are you still wondering about, like, like, what are you guys doing? I don't really understand it. I mean, what makes you need to keep hearing what he's saying? And I don't know. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. If that's all true, somehow it just doesn't feel like it's true. It sounds like something out of a movie. Except those are two attorneys that were they claim to be there, the new ones. No, he's not. They're not looking for accomplices.
Chewbacca?
Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Karma. Good evening.
I guess they could be looking for him saying stuff like if Keegan Kline was involved or not, something like that. I guess that's a possibility. I mean, yeah, anything's possible. Hell, I can't say Gretchen Arrow. Please, no movie. It's worrisome. I don't want this case botched. Oh, well, I mean, I'm just not sure what they're doing. Why do they need to be recording him every time he speaks? And it seems like a lot of that stuff might be thrown out because that would be sort of violation of his, privacy with counsel. I don't know what amendment that is, but, it's like you can't be listening in on his conversations with his counsel, for God's sakes. I mean, if that's what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they really seemed like what they were saying was stuff that was really going on in the prison. So, I mean, it's weird how the other attorneys, after all the other complaints, they go in there and there's still this weird shit going on. What? There, I gotta try something here. Let me log off, log out, log in. Sometimes when your power goes out and stuff, man, all your settings just go nuts. I don't know what the hell, why that has anything to do with anything, but stuff you really can't see until you're doing the show. What's that thing? This little weird box. See that little white thing down? What is this? Do you know if he's in prison? I don't know. That's privately owned. Aren't they mostly state? There, I'm just working on trying to get something fixed over here. I don't know what's going on, but weird. Yeah, even my stream boss isn't working. Keep reading Karen's chat over and over. What do you mean? Well, that's something on your end, the boys. Nobody else can. It doesn't look like that to anybody else. All right, well, let's switch over now. I don't really have much more to offer there. Just move him. Let him move wherever he wants. And, I guess I would just let him be however he wants to, let him be like a normal inmate at the prison, I guess. I just want everything to go smooth and nothing to bitch about later. Okay, but it sounds like his attorneys are going down the same idiotic, odious route. Okay, it's totally bogus. It's just a wild... It's stuff that was talked about early on in the case, and then it was sort of like dusted off the pile of crap heap of history and put back into use for somebody. Yeah, hey, that's my work now. We can pretend that it's just... but the problem is we got a lot of really dumb people in society. Just regular Joes, and they believe it. Like they see stuff like that and they believe it. And so the objective worked with them putting it out there, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do the Heuermann. By the way, look at this look at this picture of him, man. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Man, what a... Right there. Shoot. I don't know if I can use that one now. Probably used up my views. So, alleged serial killer Rex Heuermann returns to court this week on Long Island, where he is expected to be charged in the death of a fourth woman whose remains were found in a marshy spot. So, while this is news, it's not surprising at all. Is anybody going, wow, this is amazing? It's Brainard-Barnes. Maureen Barnes, I just call her. I don't use the other one. She was... That was just so obvious, right? She was even mentioned in the probable cause document. She's one of the Gilgo 4 was wrapped up similarly. I mean, it was really obvious. It's not like, oh my God, what a shock. I didn't pin anything. Yeah, I didn't pin a comment, the boys. So, hasn't been, and that's what Richard Allen wants, huh? Yeah, Richard Allen just wants to be, I guess, apparently, and his lawyers want him to be treated just like he's any other inmate waiting in jail. But I think his case is a little different. Way higher profile. And that puts him in danger because somebody might want to make a name for themselves in prison, especially when he's accused of killing. And Richard Allen is the killer, by the way. He's accused of killing Abby and Libby, 13 and 14 years old. Isn't it interesting how that case and the Idaho 4 case both have a crazy... one little piece of, like, you got the DNA on the buckle of the knife sheath, and then in Richard Allen's case, a bullet that was ejected from his gun. I mean, just so weird how they're both these wild little, while the circumstantial evidence is great for both, there's this one piece that, boom, nails him right there, puts him in the spot. Although I admit the DNA on the knife sheath's better probably than the ejection marks. Huh? What do you mean good old boys in a poor area? Don't know what that means. Who's your mama? Has nothing to do with... It's Indiana. We don't even have legalized marijuana yet. Oh, you guys should be proud of that. Yeah, that's nothing to be ashamed of. What do you mean, Gray? I like blazing away every night, you bastard. Is that good, though, or, you know? Okay. So anyways, Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to killing Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthelemy, and Amber Costello. So Maureen is in the place, is in this place. It's very near the other ladies. Well, yeah, it's, look at I even use the GPS coordinates they have in the probable cause document here. Let me just open it up. I think it's probable cause. Maybe it's a... yeah, I'm not sure what document, what you call it, but I mean, it's had a whole bunch of records in it. I think it's charging documents. But like right here, see, I even entered in these GPS coordinates right here. And here's where they all are, right? So there's Megan Waterman. Barnes is right in between Melissa Barthelemy. And then here's Amber Costello. Costello's case is the one that pretty much broke the case. But look, I mean, how can you not count that person? And by the way, there's an Asian male right here. I guarantee you that this person is connected as well. And as a matter of fact, I think every single person on here is connected to him. But I mean, you got this Jessica Taylor right here, and then the Asian male right here. And he had one of his things that he looked up was that. I think it's even in this same document here. If you scroll down. I'm going to start doing videos on this document here. I think it's similar to like some of the other ones. It's too complex to just sort of read. And all right, so right down here, Asian twink tied up porn. See? And so he had all these different things that he was looking at, but you've got that there, and then right on that, and this was an Asian male that dressed in female clothing. Okay, how many of you, let me do a poll here. All right, there you go. And the ones that say no are just trolls that always do the counter to whatever I said. There's no way in hell a person with a logical brain could think that the Asian male literally just down in the same area, in fact, the same distance that Amber is from Megan Waterman, he's right there. That's true. That's how you get a good troll count, all right? Because nobody could be that just sort of. So we're at 49. That means we're probably at about 20% troll count in here. And you guys were having one of those massive lulls again. So if you're out there and you want to help, let's see if you can help support the channel, because I am the best true crime channel out there, and yet I don't get pumped up by the what do you call it, the algorithm, because I don't sell nonsense. Okay, I don't do the, you know, oh wow, you know, come up with crazy conspiracy theories. All right, so if you want to keep people like me around, well, there you go. They didn't say that law enforcement thought it wasn't connected. They never said that. I think it might have been somebody he chose, and then he killed him because they, maybe even got angry at who they really were. I mean, for anybody who put no out there, why did you put no? Go ahead. Go ahead. Type it in. Call in what? No. All right, right now we're at like 54% of the goal. For those, I can't put the goal up on the screen, so I'm just telling you. Sure. I don't know about this case to vote either way. Well, this case is a serial killer, Rex Heuermann, who dumped bodies here, and then there's other bodies along the same highway here, and you think that they're not connected? I mean, that's all you need to know right there, just logistically. I mean, do you think like other killers were just driving around throwing bodies off the same road? And look how close the Asian male is to Amber, Melissa, Megan, and Maureen. And you can't go down there now it's changed. This little path didn't used to be there. And so I actually measured from the old road, and I bet you that's the same. Let me see what happens. Yeah, look at that. So that line right there, this is where the edge of the old road used to be. Hey, there's Alley Cake trying for a wave, because apparently when I say something, it doesn't have any effect whatsoever on anybody. So if Alley Cake, if you can help Alley Cake get a wave going, that'd be great. So here's the edge of the road right there, and all of them were exactly the same measurement that law enforcement had, except one of them. They had her at 27 feet for Barthelemy from the edge of the pavement to her body, but I got her at 44 feet based on their GPS coordinates. The rest of them were absolutely correct. Thanks, Mama 457 Rose. What are you guys talking about up in here? Huh? Did you think he was a she? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. All right. Thanks, mods, for what? What are you talking about, Cindy? I mean, yeah, I thank them all the time, but I mean, what particularly are you thanking? What'd they just do for you? Thanks, Peter. And Chris 22. And Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Quietly Frozen. What? Hey, is that really Quietly Frozen? Holy crap. How you doing? Man, I just want to stop the show and talk or something. What's going on? I was actually worried about you. When I tried calling you up like months ago, and it's kind of a weird thing that I got. So how's it going, Quietly Frozen? I mean, it has to be her. She's got the, the membership time too. And you're still around? Oh. Man, you haven't been on, I haven't seen you on the show for like 7 or 8 months. Did something happen, or? Anyways, thank you very much. Almost had like a double take right there. I was like, whoa. Sorry, I feel like this long lost friend came in. Like she used to, be on. Oh, really? Wow, that's nuts. Is it cool? Is it fun for you? Quietly Frozen? Complete life change raising unexpected littles. That's awesome. I mean, it's probably rewarding too, right? I mean, maybe you feel like, shit, man, when do I just get to hang out? But yeah, I mean, Quietly Frozen used to be over here a long time. I send her stuff from time to time, just like, notebooks and things.
If you want me to.
Just checking to see how she's doing, and there she is. Hang out, sleeping over. How old are the kids that you're taking care of?
Ocean wave.
That's so amazing to see you again.
Ocean wave. Ocean wave.
Yeah, I think the Asian male was one of his. Well, it could be that he literally that's what he wanted. I mean, if you look at the. Okay, so check it out. What this means here, on this
Ocean wave.
document, that term right there. You know what that means? It means a gay or bisexual young man with a slim build. Remember how he was really into the little tiny 5 foot or under, So look at him typing that search term in there, and that's exactly what you have right here. Is an Asian male that was wearing, was wearing female clothing. I guess it's more like transgender, but bisexual it could be, right? Well, anyways, I hope I see you again. Quietly Frozen. I actually made my whole month, because I was always thinking, man, some of these people that used to always be here that were like part of the freak family and everything. Yeah, it's good to see you again. And by the way, Quietly Frozen, I don't know if you've been around, but you probably heard that Jen H passed away, right? Did you hear that? One of our moderators, Jen H., she was so nice, a really nice person. And then we ended up starting a scholarship fund in her name, but we ended up not putting it in her name because I couldn't get a hold of the parents anymore. And so we put $6,000 into that, and we currently are we giving it $3,000 to 2 people. And it's already, that's done. We're just starting building up for next year now. And we've got over 250 applications for the money already. And some of the freaks are going through it. So there you go. I'm sure some of your funds from last year all, kicked into that too. So everybody who helps support the channel, it all goes to all these different things. All right. And thank you up there also to Cheryl, Linda Howell, Chris22, Peter Cindy J, Amber Maiden, and Mom 457 Rose, and Allie Cake for starting that up. All right. So what do you got? Don't you guys think that Asian male, now that you see what that means, and he does the search for that? Yeah, Jen H was awesome. Sometimes I sit around and I think about our last phone calls that we had, and I was just, it just makes me feel bad. Like she wanted to live so bad. She tried really hard. She had hope. Even when she was sent home for hospice, she kept saying, if I could just, that was when I was driving to Indiana, and she was saying, she just kept throwing up. She kept saying, I mean, I'm just telling you guys. She'd say like she kept throwing up, and she goes, if I could just stop throwing up, I know I could beat this. And then God, it was like 4 or 5 days later, she passed away. And it was just ridiculous. But apparently, your mom said she passed away gracefully, which absolutely doesn't surprise me whatsoever. That's exactly, I mean, that's the word that defines her, is grace. You know, something that we could all learn to have a little bit more of, especially me, I can tell you that. But I mean, just watching her, it makes you go, God, how the hell how can she be so nice and so miserable? Like, obviously she's not, she's miserable physically. And she's just so nice anyways. Like, say all the freaks, It's insane. Yeah. Anyways, good to see you quietly frozen. Looks like you went back in the background. But yeah, it was so neat. See you pop in there. Yeah, she never complained at all. They don't really have the time frame. Well, maybe they do. Let me go look. Legal process serves Google seeking records for accounts associated with the device. Burner, junk email. Well, it doesn't really matter the timing to me, because the fact that he looked that up means that that's something. Look at all these other ones. I mean, he's just ridiculous. I mean, that means it's something that he's interested in. And so then you can go back in time and wonder, and maybe he's looking it up because of his experience back then, or maybe that's just something he's always been interested in, and that was one of his victims. Let's see, there's a date up here. A review of all of call records for these 2 additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 23 for prostitution-related contacts. So here you go. That's a perfect example. If you think about that, then just sort of, he's looking for prostitution-related contacts, and then he types in the Asian comment, Asian twink, I mean, it's whatever. He ties this up. I mean, he types it in. So that means he's looking for that. That means that's something he's interested in. So doesn't it mean that, like, perhaps in the past he was also interested? I mean, I think it's, and look at the location. Serial killers will not, like, if it's often or not, but they have sometimes they have a dumping ground where they put multiple bodies. Bundy did that for some of his victims, and others. You have places where they have put many bodies. I mean, Gacy, for God's sakes, underneath his house, put them all, really. Mm-hmm. Got any new episodes coming out? The Broken Scout? Do you think he only killed in New York? I don't know. I think a guy like Heuermann, he could have dozens and dozens of murders, and nobody knows. I would. The fact is, there's many sex workers that are murdered, and man, I bet you he could have ties to a whole bunch of them. Don't you guys think? So let's look up the see Barnes. When did she first show up in here? I think up to the top. Yeah, so look at they already had all four on this map here, right? So obviously they thought she was connected. They just weren't able to definitively say so. Although the defendant is not yet charged with any crimes as to the disappearance and murder of Mrs. Brainard-Barnes, as set forth below, defendant Rex Heuermann is the prime suspect in her death and the investigation which is continuing and expected to be resolved soon. Moreover, see, they're just waiting for, the final portion. This isn't a shock or surprising. It's actually mildly even interesting, right? Because it's the same information. We'll probably get to hear in a press conference, so the exact one. Oh, you put one out last night? Yeah. Heuermann is the prime suspect in her death. Yes, people. Yeah, should go check out. Is it called the Broken Scout podcast, or what's it called? You guys should go listen to it. It's like a really honest, straightforward. I haven't heard all of them, but I'll listen to a couple episodes. But he talks about how it is, the reality. I'm sure it's called the Broken Scout, so you could probably go look it up. It's an audio podcast. Huh? Who mentioned another channel? I don't even know what you're referring to. I don't see anything. Is my thought? No, you can't, Gretchen. And why do you need to? It's so weird. I listen, I've been covering this case for like 8 years, okay? And now everybody's an expert at it. Oh man, they're all on top of it. And that's one of the things I hate about YouTube. It's all about who can get something out first, the algorithm, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you just do what you've been doing the way you've done it before, it doesn't work. Yeah, you should check it out. Anyways, down here it says, moreover, there is substantial evidence of defendant Heuermann's involvement in the disappearance and death of Barnes, which evidence closely fits the modus operandi of the defendant in relation to the deaths of other 3 women, and which supports the current charges. As such, this bail application contains descriptions of that evidence which demonstrates the strength of the people's case as currently charged. And we're only, by the way, everybody, only $26 short of the goal. That's it. Let's see. Yes, the fields was a dumping. I made a community post on Scouting Dude's podcast a while ago. Demonstrates the strength of the people's... Okay, so let me go to the next one. Barnes and Barthelemy were used by the killer after their deaths. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in a burlap-type material. Were used by the killer after their deaths. Huh. That's interesting. Let's see. A call made by detective. Barthelemy's cell phone while looking into her disappearance. 4 calls checking voicemail on Miss Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. In addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan, in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Miss Barthelemy. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Miss Brainard-Barnes' cell phone. The disappearance and murder. So this is her main spot right here, where it describes her disappearance. Maureen Brainard-Barnes was last seen on July 9, 2007 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 6, 2007, Miss Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. Between July 6, 2007 and July 9th, so it's a 3-day period, there were 16 interactions between this particular burner phone and Barnes' cell phone. On July 9th, 2007, the last day of those, well, it says that right next sentence, the last cell site location for Brainard-Barnes' cell phone was at approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan, near the 59th Street Bridge. And that's so that's the last time her phone pinged, and that's like, so that burner phone was probably the one that communicated with that phone, and she was right near the Manhattan, near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, Barnes' cell phone had no further activity until July 12th, so 3 days after she disappeared. And it says on July 12th, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Bernard's cell phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near Long Island Expressway. What a creepy thing. Why are you listening to that? Isn't that weird? Some of the stuff that he would do, call the family member. This guy is one of the worst of the worst. This is, the thing about Heuermann is he is a classic serial killer. Like, he is one of those just monsters that you hear about, and there's, like he's taunting the victims, he's doing all kinds of crazy, you get what I'm saying? Like, he is absolutely a serial killer. It's so weird, because doesn't it seem a lot of times like the heyday of these types of serial killers was the 70s and 80s? This guy's like a throwback. He just sort of came out of nowhere. No further activity until July 12th. Yeah, then it says, okay, that's the next victim. Checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Islandia. Okay. Let me get past the... Neither cellular, telephone billing records nor travel financial records could be obtained for defendant Heuermann's wife for 2007, as such records were no longer available. That's right, and he would time these up with his wife going out of town. Therefore, it is undetermined at the time defendant Heuermann's wife was traveling, out of state, during the time of Maureen Brainard-Barnes' disappearance and murder. Waterman and Costello, as well as the use of Brainard-Barnes and Barthelemy's cell phones when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting phone calls after the woman disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from these other cell phones when such a communication event occurred. Unfortunately, cell site records for the burner cell phone used to contact Miss Barnes was not obtained at the time of her disappearance, and no longer exists. Wow, that's pretty stupid. Let's see. The specific disappearances and murder of Maureen Barnes, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, and the investigation into their murders. These searches were articles that access include but not limited to. So these are searches related to, so Heuermann did these searches related to these cases. Why would law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? Okay. So he knows that they know that they got calls, but they were burner phones. He was probably hoping that somebody would mention that. Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Yeah, it's weird because it almost feels like he's gloating on some of these, right? He wants to see if somebody is guessing. Long Island killer, Long Island serial killer phone call, Long Island serial killer update, Long Island serial killer update 2022, FBI active serial killers by state, map of all known serial killers, unsolved serial killer cases, America's 5 most notorious old cases, 11 currently active serial killers, 8 terrifying active serial killers we can't find, John Bittroff, Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Barnes, redacted name of relative of Melissa. And then another one of Waterman. Cops launch Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force, mapping the Long Island murder victims inside the Long Island serial killer in Gilgo Beach. Oh, by the way, you know that belt that had like MW on it? Or H, I guess it was, like H, what was it, WH or something? Yeah, WH is what it was. Well, that's his, Heuermann is the H, and I guess apparently the W is his dad. So that really was the initials of his family. I mean, I think that might be something we already talked about. I just didn't remember it. Yeah, the belt, but it turns out it's his dad's belt, likely, because it's his dad's initials. Inside the Long Island serial killer Gilgo Beach, the Gilgo Beach killer in Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be key to break-in case. Had left, okay, so Maureen Brainard-Barnes, Miss Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes' feet, ankles, legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts by the Suffolk County Crime Lab. On or about December 18, 2010, the Suffolk County Laboratory, this hair Suffolk County Laboratory, this hair and was able to, not sure what that's saying, to determine that it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment. Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at the time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. As noted above, the female hair, 2 female hairs on Waterman and female hair on Costello, were all sent to an outside forensic laboratory. DNA techniques and direct genome sequencing in difficult to solve forensic cases, and yeah, so maybe that's what they did. They were able to determine that was hers. But anyways, so there you go. There you have it. That is the Rex Heuermann update. Not shocking, mildly interesting because there's no extra information. Just, oh yeah, they finally determined to arrest him. Yeah. So the person that said, "Can I mention a name?" not sure. Let me see. What do you got here? I'm sitting up. I better... Oh. Man, shoulder hurts. Well, what do we do now, you guys? That was pretty quick. I do have this whole cold... well, it's not really cold. It's sort of a... It's pretty interesting. It's kind of long, but... We could try to do it if you want, but it's going to be reading. And you know what happens when we read, everybody? It gets even slower than it is currently. Yeah, I mean, I just got to do the update. I mean, it's not... I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to start making videos on that document we just read there. And then maybe put it all together in a playlist so you can just watch and go, oh, yeah. Because I think that one needs to be done similarly to the other ones that I've done. The Idaho 4 and Delphi. I'll tell you what, if we get to the goal, I'll do that whole story. We're only $26 away. Then we'll do the entire story. All right? See if we can get there. It's a long one. It's got, gosh. It's crazy, though. I just can't believe it. It was just so random. I just went on NamUs, found a missing person case, and it just kept leading all over the place into this huge thing. So that there you have it, everybody. If we get to that, we'll do that one. Now there's 320 here, but you know. Yeah, today was, I don't know how, it's just so cold here for what it normally is here. Yeah, but I think I should do that. Make videos on that probable cause that we just went over and go through all the different parts in order. And see what happens. Man, you guys, don't all just jump on it at once, okay? Wow, slow down. Slow down, you guys. Well, there's Ivan Victor. All right, thanks, Ivan Victor. That's right. Come on, peeps. We are 2320. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do this because, like, I missed 2 days and now we're way behind. We were doing pretty good for the month. Now we're just back to, you know, ho-hum. Yeah, I don't know. Serial killers are really interesting to me. I think Koberger was going to be one, for damn sure. And I think I don't know what you think. Call Richard Allen. You know, his mentality, but. All right, thanks, Ivan Victor. Mama 457 Rose, Wise Child. Only 20 short now. We have 7 inches snow and minus freezing wind chill. Koberger. I think he wanted to be called Koberger the K-Bar Killer. I think that's what he wanted to be. He could still be called that. But he was going to start leaving. And, you know, it's anti my sequencing to think that he left it there intentionally, because then he wouldn't have gone back upstairs looking for it. The knife sheath, right? But there's just something that I think, for some reason, it's hard to get it out of my mind that he left that there intentionally because of how well it was cleaned. Oh, look at that, Circa Then. Oh, and Circa Then does it. Around that time.
Let's go.
I was trying to figure out the. I was thinking of trying to make a video because my original theory in that case was that Ethan and Xana were killed first, but it's just hard to do now, especially when you have, the timing of different things. It doesn't make sense because she's still doing stuff at 4:12, right? So that means he's already in the house. He's not 4:08 he parks. He's not waiting that much time. Well, hey, thanks again. Quietly Frozen. Wait, hold on. I got to do the old one. Here we go. Quietly Frozen. The coolest name in YouTube history. You remember that? Almost forgot. Almost forgot. It's been so long. Yeah. It's kind of a... Oh, yeah, but I see you have a drum... Doom, doom, but my sound effects aren't working right now. Yeah, let's see. Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history. There you go. Yeah, so it's hard for me. I was going to try to make a video on that because I was thinking, let's see, how can we make that? He goes in, because it sort of works like this. So in the Idaho 4 case, just like close your eyes, and you guys all visualize the house already. So let's say a DoorDash delivery comes in, and let's just say it's 4:07 or whatever. Who knows? 4:08. Maybe that's even why he turned around and went back, because he saw the delivery being made. Who the hell knows? But anyways, the 4:05 turnaround. But she gets that, and she's in the kitchen first. Maybe to get a plate or something, with the bag. And then maybe when she's in the kitchen, I don't know, but that's the part, then when she's walking to the room, and that would be, now we're looking at, let's see. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure when you'd see him coming in, because somebody says, somebody's here. If she's in the kitchen, he comes in. Well, shit, you saw him right there. You wouldn't say that. You'd say, get the hell out of here. Who are you? So this is like you're walking by or something, and you see somebody up the stairs, or you're hearing somebody, and you're saying that. But if you're attacked first, see, I'm trying to do their attack first. So let's say she's in the kitchen, and she's putting the bag on the counter and sees somebody out the window coming, heading towards the house, and then she's walking back. Hey, there's somebody here. And then that person, to 4:09 or 10 or, but see, that's the thing. Is 4:12, she's still using TikTok. So for me, it's got to be upstairs first. So every time I kept trying to do that version, knowing all the facts, and you put it together, it doesn't make sense to have that be first, right? All right. Anyways, I'm gonna go do this other story, so it's gonna be, who knows if it'll be interesting, but it's an old school type, Do I have her in here? Alright, get that folder in there, and we're just gonna start loading this. You guys want to do this? Here we go. It's not the Idaho 4 case. I know it's gonna be tough. What does that mean when you put your... I see quietly frozen's hand gesture going up like that. Like, I don't know. Is that what that means? Okay, we're doing the old school ones. All right, here we go. Yeah, so this happened clear back. I mean, this isn't even the case that I was originally talking about. So it's Pauline Rourke is the case, but then it led me backwards in time to other things. I think this guy's a possible serial killer here, but it's been solved, but I think that's what this guy is. Anyways, girls, 2 boys, knife, quiz dad, and Juliet. Miss Patricia Cochran, 19, and her 3 small children were found slain last night in their apartment at 1612 Campbell Street. So I guess we can go get that. 1612. I think I might have already had this then, because it went right there. Okay, so let's see, where do I have that? Property. There's a pin there. That means I just did it. Oh, that's funny. I just had it from yesterday. Okay, let me... Because I wasn't able to do a show, though. So I'll just get rid of this one. And there we go. So right in this house, right here, and I'm pretty sure it's the same one. Or it's an apartment, actually. It's in this side over here, not this one. You can see that it's 1612. I don't know if you can see that. Let me back up a little bit. There it is, 1612, and this one over here isn't that. It's 16, like, I don't know, 28 or something. Anyways, it's right inside one of these units right here. And look how crazy. Miss Patricia Cochran, 19, and her 3 small children were found slain. I mean, this would be a huge case if it was today. Miss Cochran's body was wrapped in a blue blanket. A pink hand towel was over her face. Coroner officials said her neck had been broken, as though by strangling. Her body was in the middle of the floor of the living room of the ranch-style ground floor apartment and the west side of Joliet, on the west side of Joliet. The children had been stabbed in the chest with a kitchen knife, and their bodies were found in a blood-spattered bathtub. They were Christine, 3, Christopher, 2, and Craig, 10 months old. A knife was found on the chest of one of the children. Police were questioning the father, Albert P. Cochran, 25, who said he had been estranged from his wife for more than a month. He denied knowledge of the killings and said his wife and children were well when he saw them Sunday night. The bodies were discovered after a neighbor, Mrs. Patricia Swindles, informed police that no activity had been seen at the Cochran apartment since Sunday. Police seeking keys to the apartment visited Cochran at Top's Discount Store in Joliet, where he worked as an assistant apartment manager. Cochran told them he had given his set of apartment keys to his wife Sunday night. He then accompanied police to the apartment, and the police broke in. They said the husband showed no emotion when he saw the bodies. Willard Blood, wow, that's his last name? Jesus. I mean, I guess that guy was destined to be a coroner. Willard Blood, Will County coroner, said the victims had been dead. That's like Judge. I mean, really? It's ridiculous. They'd been dead for 12 to 18 hours. Cochran said he had been living at 314 Sherman Street. Let's see where that is. 314 Sherman Street. it's right over here. Ah, cool. I got the 3D building. Alright, so what's this guy's name again? Cochran. Yeah, so I guess that's where they were killed. He lives right over there. He has to cross a river. Miles wide. 2.43. Hey, thanks, Tamster. Police said there were scratches on his forehead and chin. He was held for questioning. And he said that the family had moved from Kalamazoo, Michigan on October 1st, 1962. This is February 11th, 1964 in this case here. All right. So there, it doesn't go on to the next page, so we're done with that one. Then the same day in a different paper. The negligee-clad body of Miss Patricia Cochran was found on the living room floor, wrapped in a blue blanket with a hand towel covered her face. Cochran, 25, a discount store employee, denied knowledge of the slaying, police said. He had been living in Joliet apartment since the Cochrans separated several weeks ago. So they separated. Look how weird that is. Father and 3 daughters die in a Legrand fire. Right below 3 other children killed by the father. Isn't that weird? This one is a father and 3 daughters die. And then this one is up here is that they think a father may have killed 3 kids. And what are the odds of that? They must have done that on purpose. Alright, this one is, let's see what this one has anything separate in there. A young father broke down under questioning today and told investigators he killed his teenage wife and after she stabbed their 3 children to death. Yeah, what a load of shit. Albert Cochran, 25, a department manager at a discount house, told Will County State Attorney Frank H. Masters his wife, Patricia, 19, killed the children after an argument over his plans for a divorce. That's just total crap. Police broke into an apartment Monday night and found the bodies of a 19-year-old mother and her 3 children. They seized her estranged husband. The bodies of 3 children, Christine Cochran, 3, and her brother Christopher, 2, and Craig, 10 months, were found wrapped in towels in a bathtub. Their mother, Mrs. Patricia Cochran, was found dead on the living room floor, her neck broken. Police said her husband, Albert, 25, refused to talk during a lengthy questioning. I mean, you might wonder why I'm going over this. I mean, it's absolutely crazy stories. Police told he choked her for knifing the tots. So this guy right here, that's him. He's claiming, Albert Cochran is claiming that his wife killed the kids, so then he killed her. Right? A Joliet man confessed yesterday that he choked his estranged wife to death, but he blamed her for the murder of their 3 young children with a kitchen knife. I choked her and choked her and choked her until she dropped, Albert Cochran, 25, said in a statement to State's Attorney Frank H. Masters, Jr. She was found dead Monday night on the living room floor of their duplex home at 1612 Campbell Avenue. Let's see. Officials, Masters and Coroner Willard G. Blood said they were not satisfied on the basis of Cochran's statement that Mrs. Cochran had killed her children. Masters said he expects to ask Cochran to submit to a lie detector test. Police recovered a shirt and pair of pants that Cochran sent to a cleaning shop on Monday. They said that these garments would be sent to the police crime laboratory in Chicago for analysis. Yeah, so, and this is, that's her right there. Killer of wife spurns test baby murders. A Joliet discount store executive who has admitted strangling his wife refused to take a lie detector test yesterday about the knife slaying of his 3 young children. There's no reason to take a lie test, said Albert P. Cochran, 25. It wouldn't prove anything. All right, Sandra Halford, 25 months. It's a long time. So what do you guys think so far? A pretty crazy story, huh? I hope the state will do what I didn't have the nerve to do, execute me. After he refused to take the lie detector test, Cochran was taken before Magistrate Martin Jackson in Joliet District Court and was held to the Will County Grand Jury. Also, let's see, although Cochran has admitted that he strangled his estranged wife early Monday in his apartment at 1612 Campbell Avenue, Joliet, he contends that he did so only after she stabbed and killed the children. Yeah, it's just such a load of crap. Let's see what this says. Masters said that Cochran told police he had bought a length of rope at the discount store when he has been a department manager. He had, no, that doesn't make any sense. He intended to hang himself, Cochran added, but has not taken delivery of the rope before the slaying of his wife. Cochran also said that he had considered driving his car into the Illinois River to commit suicide, but explained that he chickened out. He added that he did not want a lawyer to unalived himself. Mrs. Cochran had sued Cochran for separate maintenance and had obtained a court injunction to restrain him from molesting her. He said he called on her late Sunday night, that they argued, and that he went to sleep on the living room floor of her apartment when he could not get his car started to drive home. So now he's admitting why he was there. Cochran said his wife awakened him during the night and told him she had killed their daughter. Right. Jesus. Christine. Then he saw the stabbed bodies of the children in the bathtub. Cochran said he choked his wife to death. A neighbor notified police that she failed to see Mrs. Cochran or the children on Monday. Police picked up Cochran at the discount store, took him to the house, and discovered the bodies. Hey, it's WNC Granny. What the hell's going on? Yeah, thank you. Slaying of 4 admitted by Joliet man. A young discount store employee has admitted to polygraph operator that he killed his 19-year-old estranged wife and their 3 children. But police said Albert P. Cochran, 25, refused to sign a statement after he allegedly admitted the slayings to the lie detector operator. Previously, Cochran had admitted choking his wife, Patricia, to death after he told him she had fatally stabbed their 3 children. So, anyways, I'm going to move on to the next one. I just want you to see how this part pans out. Father who killed family called Romeo. A 19-year-old Juliet girl revealed yesterday. Oh yeah, this is another woman. So listen to this one. A 19-year-old Joliet girl revealed yesterday that she and Albert P. Cochran, 25, accused of slaying his wife and 3 children, had been planning to get married. So this is another girl. See, this is the motive right here, you guys. This 19-year-old girl was planning to marry Albert P. Cochran. Police Captain Donald A. Beau of Joliet said the girl was only one of 6 other women who have been turned up by investigation of Cochran's private life. Cochran is charged with murdering his wife, Patricia 19, on February 10th. He didn't want to have this wife and the kids, anchoring him down. I mean, he's just total psycho, And this one here is a man on trial for murdering wife. So he goes to trial. He went on trial today on charges of murdering his estranged wife. The account of the slayings given by police said that Cochran choked his wife to death during an argument over divorce plans and then stabbed the children because he didn't want anyone else to have them. And then right here, slayer of 4 gets 50 to 75 years. Albert P. Cochran, 26, was sentenced to 50 to 75 years in prison Tuesday after he entered a surprise plea of guilty in the strangling deaths of his wife and 3 children. Yeah, but guess how many years he served, though, you guys? 7. All right. I know. It'd be funny if it wasn't sad. Somehow, 50 to 75 years he got out in 7. Yeah. So anyways, now we move on to these other 1976 here. So now we are 12 years after that. The bullet-riddled body of 30-year-old Janet Baxter of Oakland was found in the trunk of a car that was perched on the bank of the Nebby River Tuesday night. Authorities termed the death a homicide. Mrs. Baxter was a divorcee and the mother of a 7-year-old daughter. Her partially clothed body was found in the trunk of a Ford sedan. Dr. Henry Ryan, chief medical examiner, performed an autopsy Wednesday at the Augusta General Hospital and said death was caused by multiple bullet wounds in the head, brain, chest, and lung. He concluded that the woman died sometime Tuesday afternoon. The Norwich Walk Police Department was notified by a motorist at 11:30 p.m. that a car was on the highway on River Road. Police Chief Leroy Jones found the car with its front end pointed towards the river with its motor running and no driver in sight. After checking the registration and circumstances, the trunk of the car was open. Jones said it was understood that a woman had been driving the car. After the body was discovered, the area was secured and the Bureau of Criminal Investigation was notified. The trunk was open about 3/4 of an hour after the car was discovered. Police are not releasing the car's owner's name or the number of wounds. The car had been impounded by the police in Augusta. The Norwich Walk chief reported that the car was not Mrs. Baxter's. The dead woman was said to have been a secretary in a physician's office in Waterville. So we're just kind of looking at this one, wondering what does this have to do with anything. Yellow Volkswagen Sot. Now, what did you guys think right when you read that? Although Bundy, I think, had a brown one. State police are looking for a yellow Volkswagen Beetle that they hope will provide them with a lead to the killer of 30-year-old Janet Baxter, who was found shot and virtually unclad in the trunk of a car here the day before Thanksgiving. 6 units from the Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the Uniformed State Police were stopping motorists on the River Road here Tuesday night, asking if they had seen a yellow Volkswagen. Yeah, so we'll just skip past that. And then there was a drawing issued, a composite drawing of a man wanted for questioning in connection with the homicide of Janet Baxter, unsolved after 6 weeks, is in the hands of police investigators. Cohen noted that the man wanted for questioning may be the driver of a yellow Volkswagen, which police believe stopped a while on River Road late November 23rd in the same vicinity where the 30-year-old Oakland nurse was discovered slaying. The man wanted for questioning is not a suspect in the case, according to Attorney General's office. All right. Yeah, they always say that. And what's it say? An Oakland man was found innocent last week by a... Oh, yeah, these are just random things that I found. So he's already out, this Cochran. But yeah, here's just a random time. He's in the paper often. You know, it's like... An Oakland man was found innocent last week by a Kennebec County Superior Court jury on 4 charges of burglary. Albert P. Cochran, 38, accused of burglary. I guarantee you he did that burglary. You know, so he was found innocent on that. And what's this one? Investigation of 3-year-old murder quietly continues. The investigation continues into the murder of an Oakland woman whose unexplained death sent shockwaves through central Maine, and this is the partially clothed body of Janet M. Baxter, 30, of Oakland, was discovered shortly after midnight, November 24th, 1976. This is 79, this article here. In the trunk of a Ford sedan. Despite an intensive investigation by Maine State Police, no one has ever been charged with the slaying, nor was a motive for the crime publicly advanced. Although years after elapsed, Pasquale Pat Perino of the State Attorney General's office said Wednesday that the Baxter homicide is still considered very active. We continue to get leads on the matter all the time, and all the information is followed up. In fact, we have some recent leads which the state police are working on, Perino stated. Let's see, the car, right here it says, Miss Baxter had left her mobile home. Oh, I think I saw that. On Oak Street. Yeah, so I have on the map this Oak Street. Here a second. Yeah, so this is way over here. Yeah, so it's, I think, shit. Yeah, Baxter, I think it's on this road right here. Yeah, so Oak Street, so it's in this town, and it was in a trailer. I don't know exactly where it is on Oak Street here, but they weren't really specific on that. So it says, Mrs. Baxter had left her mobile home on Oak Street in Oakland at about 9:30 p.m. November 23rd to purchase cough syrup for her sore throat, driving a 1974 Ford owned by a friend. She was last seen alive leaving the A&P store at the JFK Plaza in Waterville at about 10. Let's see where that is. JFK Plaza. There you go. So it should be close, yeah. So she was seen right here in this mall. Baxter. Seen at what was it, 10 p.m.? Is that what it said? I guess it's 9:30. No, the 9:30 she had her mobile home, and then she was 10 p.m. at the mall. Her car was spotted next at about 11:15 p.m. on the River Road here by a local resident. The vehicle was perched on the riverbank with the hood of the car facing the water. Okay, so this is, let's see where River Road is. I can, probably that river right there though, right? River Road. Okay, so that's River Road. And does it come? Yeah, right in this area. That's right on the river. Oops. So I bet you it's like right here her car was found. Somewhere around in here. I'm just guessing, but her car was spotted at 11:15 p.m. on River Road here by local. Local police responded to the scene. At first, tried to ascertain the ownership of the vehicle, assuming the car may have been stolen or abandoned. But at about 12:30 a.m. November 24th, authorities opened the trunk of the car and found Mrs. Baxter today. Man, you guys are still saying hello this late into the show. Come on, you guys. This is an interesting story. State police combed the area for clues and dived in the Kennebec River near where the car was found, but the murder weapon, believed to be a small pistol, was never found. The victim was found face up in the car trunk, wearing only socks and covered up on upper part of the body by a jacket. The Attorney General's office later stated there was no evidence Miss Baxter had been raped. Yeah, they like to say that. Hey, do you see that Zozo? Quietly Frozen was in here. That was like a miracle. Yep, and they're still talking about it. It's been 6 years since the body of 30-year-old Janet Baxter of Oakland was found in the trunk of the car. The car was discovered by a passing motorist at 11:10. Yeah, so, they're still trying to figure it out. Wait, is it Dan Burrell's birthday?
Dan Burrell's birthday? Good eye, Mike.
That's all you got?
Did they sing happy birthday in Australia, Greg?
I don't know, did they?
Well, I'll do it anyways. Happy birthday to Dan Burrell, mate. Happy birthday to Dan Burrell, mate. Happy birthday to Dan Burrell, mate. Happy birthday to you, mate.
Man, that was as bad an Australian accent as the one I have, right? But at least you tried, okay? At least you gave it a shot.
And many more.
Hey, you're a little bit late there.
Yeah. Hip hip hooray. Jesus. All right. So that last one was 1982. They were still looking in the Baxter case. Ah, shit. And here's a longer one on Baxter. So it is, a case of murder resurrected. One thing was certain when Maine Police Detective Michael Mitchell took charge of the Janet Baxter murder case last year. He had a lot of reading to do. He had inherited 20 years worth of work by 24 detectives and 40-pound case file. Holy cow, Mitchell thought at the time. This is old. Mitchell had no personal memory of the killing that riveted so many in central Maine. Now 34, he was a 6th grader at Shawhegan when Janet Baxter was raped and shot to death. So she was raped. But he brought to the investigation 2 powerful weapons, evidence collected years ago by his predecessor, and sophisticated new DNA techniques. And this is 1998, excuse me. So this is 1998. But he brought to investigation 2 powerful weapons, evidence collected years ago by the predecessor, and sophisticated new DNA techniques to test it. In the end, that was all Mitchell and the state police needed to show that even the oldest and most stubborn cases can be solved with old-fashioned persistence and modern science. On Tuesday, Mitchell flanked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement officials, knocked on, look at there it is, Albert P. Cochran. He's the one that shot and killed Baxter. Can you guys believe that? The guy that was supposed to serve 50 to 75 years in prison, and he gets out in 7, and now he's raped and killed another person. With the arrest came details of Cochran's dark past. In 1964, conviction for murdering his first wife in Illinois, and the disappearance soon after Baxter, was killed. Was killed in 1976 of Cochran's live-in girlfriend, with whom he listen to this. So, with the arrest came details of Cochran's dark past. His 1964 conviction for murdering his first wife in Illinois, and the disappearance soon after Baxter was killed in 1976 of Cochran's live-in girlfriend. So his live-in girlfriend went missing. Cochran, 60, was flown back to Maine on Saturday afternoon. After waiving extradition from Florida, Cochran arrived at the Portland International Jetport in Maine at 4:20 p.m. and was escorted in handcuffs across the tarmac and through the terminal by Maine State Police. Did I miss an article in here? Let me see. Shot dead. And then how about this one? Just a second. No? Pretty sure I had an article. Let me see if I can find it really quick. www.newspapers.com. Pauline Rourke. Let's see. 1976, 1977, Maine. Yeah. Is this it? 15 divorces are granted. Yeah, it was weird too. You always find these references, but I don't think that was the one I was looking for. Okay, I think this is what I was looking at. State police have asked Maine residents to help in the search for a Fairfield-centered woman who's been missing since late Wednesday, which is I guess that same day, the 22nd of December, 1976. Troopers asked Tuesday that anyone with information on the whereabouts of Pauline Rourke, 32, contact state police. And guess what? His roommate was Albert Cochran. I mean, you don't think this guy is like a freaking serial killer? I mean, this guy's freaking nuts. He's just killing everybody he's with. I mean, it's unbelievable. What do you mean? Is this another one? What do you mean? No. So here's the thing. In 1964, Albert Cochran this guy right here, Albert Cochran, he killed his wife and 3 kids. He got sentenced to 50 to 75 years in prison and got out. Then he kills a lady named Baxter by shooting her, and then he killed his living girlfriend just after that because she's been missing this whole time since then. Well, how do you know she didn't just run away, Gray, you bastard? Cochran's case, a DNA bellwether. Let me see this one. So this is 2009 here. Reported missing on December 15, 1976. Rourke is considered a victim of foul play. At the time of her disappearance, Rourke was living in a mobile home with Albert P. Cochran. Rourke was last seen by her daughter, who reported overhearing her mother and Cochran arguing the night before she disappeared. Rourke was scheduled to be interviewed by state police in connection with the Janet Baxter murder. Can you believe that? So the thing is Cochran was a suspect in the Janet Baxter case, and they were going to ask Pauline Rourke some questions. And then she disappeared before she could be asked questions. Cochran arguing that night before she disappeared, Rourke was scheduled to be interviewed by state police in connection with the Janet Baxter murder as a possible witness against Cochran, who was convicted of Baxter's murder in 1998, but who denies any knowledge of Rourke's disappearance. That's just total garbage. Clues sought in cold case from 1976. This is a 2017 article. After convict's death, police asked for help in finding woman's body. A woman's remains could still be at the bottom of a water well in central Maine 41 years after possibly being dumped there by her then boyfriend, convicted killer Albert P. Cochran. Cochran, now 79, I mean, can you believe that? Died Tuesday in a Rockport hospital while serving a life sentence for murdering and raping Janet Baxter of Oakland in 1976. So, I mean, just in a quick recap, what you got here is Albert P. Cochran was married to Patricia Cochran, who was 19, and they shared 3 kids together. He broke the neck of his wife and stabbed all 3 of his kids to death. And then he claimed that his wife had killed all 3 kids and therefore he killed her, but that's just totally bogus. And then he admitted guilt later and was sentenced to 50 to 75 years in prison. But, you know, Maine probably was like, oh, we can rehabilitate him. So 7 years in, he got released from prison. And so that means he got released from prison in approximately 1970. Let's see. What year? Yeah, 71-ish, right? So then, 5 years later, and who knows if he killed in between that, but he killed Janet Baxter and raped her and dumped her car and found her body in the trunk. And then his then roommate they were already on to Cochran even back then, and they were going to ask his roommate questions, and she disappeared forever right at that time. And that's what they're discussing right here, trying to find her. Maybe she's in a well somewhere. But isn't it crazy how this story turned out? From all I was looking for was the missing person case, and then it led back to all this other crap that he did prior. In interviews Wednesday with the Morning Sentinel, authorities revealed for the first time that Cochran said he knew his dead girlfriend's body was in a well, though he would not admit he had killed her. The Maine State Police Unsolved Homicide Unit had been working with Cochran on the case and met with him several times in an effort to solve Rourke's disappearance. We haven't been talking about some of the investigation work of the unit because we don't want to give the impression that some cases have priority over others. They are all equally important to us, but we are taking this unusual step to go public because we are convinced Cochran was responsible for Pauline's death, and he likely was the only person to know where her remains are. In the aftermath of Cochran's death, we shared this new information with the public, and hopefully someone will help solve the mystery and bring Pauline home after 41 years. That's her right there, Pauline Rourke. She looks pretty similar to his wife back then, the wife that he killed. Or was it? Yeah, I can't remember. We searched 3 wells in Smithfield, and we excavated 2 of those wells, and we also excavated a piece of property in Fairfield. 2 of the wells were on a dirt road off East Pond Road in Smithfield. Cochran told police that during the year before Rourke died, he and Rourke were on the property where the well is located, and Cochran stole 2 wagon wheels from the property, which also had a barn on it, according to Detective J. Pelletier. He described it as a dilapidated barn that had caved in. It had a well between the barn and the road. Man, wouldn't it be kind of interesting to maybe, take a look at this and see what you can find on Google Earth or something? You'd have to go use some maps. Like older maps, I guess. The wells they searched were not working well, but they probably were working 25 or 30 years ago. In addition to the 18 years Cochran served in his life sentence, he previously had served 9 years, I guess it was 9, in an Illinois prison for murdering his wife, Patricia, but he was given a 50 to 75 year sentence. Cochran also charged, so that's weird, so that means he only was out 3 years and then he started killing again. He was on parole in Maine when he killed Baxter. While Baxter's murder occurred in November 23, 1976. And then DNA got him. And this is what it says in the Charlie Project. Pauline was last seen in Fairfield, Maine on December 15, 1976. She lived in a mobile home off Route 139 with a distant relative, Albert P. Cochran. So I guess he's related. Pauline's 12-year-old daughter, Honey, was the last person to see her, reported hearing her mother and Albert arguing the night before she disappeared. Honey said they often ahead and left for school. When she returned home that afternoon, Pauline was gone. She hasn't been heard from again. A couple of days later, Honey's aunt came to pick her up and took her to live in Vermont. Honey believes her mother was probably already dead when she saw her this morning. She asked Albert about it on multiple occasions over the years, and he told her several different stories about what happened. Pauline was scheduled to be questioned by the Maine State Police in connection with the murder of Janet Baxter, who had been killed in November. I wonder if he had a yellow Volkswagen Bug, and that's why they knew who he was. Albert did not know her, but he seemed obsessed with the murder after it happened, even taking Pauline and Honey to see the crime scene. Pauline told a relative she was afraid Albert was involved in the murder. She disappeared before the interview. When questioned after Pauline's disappearance, Albert never admitted to killing her, but said he knew her body was in a well. Police checked several different wells as per Albert's instructions without result. In 1964, 12 years before Pauline's disappearance, Albert's family was murdered in Joliet, Illinois. He was separated from his wife, Patricia Cochran, at the time, and she lived alone in an apartment with 3 children who ranged in age from 10 months to 3 months old. Patricia was found strangled at her apartment. The children were all stabbed to death, and their bodies were left in the bathtub. Albert initially admitted to strangling his wife, but denied involvement in the deaths of the children. He said Patricia had killed them and had killed her, and he killed her in rage when he saw their bodies. Later, he made a second confession where he said he killed all of them, but never signed that confession. Yeah, we read all this stuff. He was charged in all 4 deaths, but in the middle of his trial, he agreed to plead guilty only in Patricia's case, and the other charges were dropped. He was sentenced to 55 years in prison for the killing, but served only 11 years. Well, this says 11. I thought it was 7, then it's 9, then 11. Before being paroled. It's unclear whether Pauline knew about his conviction when she agreed to be his roommate. In 1999, Albert was convicted of Janet Baxter's murder and sentenced to life in prison. He died there in 2017 at the age of 79. A photo of him is posted with this case summary right there. I guess that's her mobile home that she lived in. Pauline Rourke was a 32-year-old woman living in Fairfield, Maine, with her 12-year-old daughter, Sandra Honey Rourke. So that's an age where you're going to remember stuff and be able to think, Isn't that amazing? Whenever you go over these stories like this, like we had 320 people watching. But people just don't want to take the time. So they get the hell out because it's just doesn't have that instant gratification. Can't stand it. Man, I can't stand it. It's one of those things that makes me just pissed off at the whole true crime world. It's just... I didn't even look. I just finally looked up again. That means 70 people were like, yeah, okay, whatever, what about Koberger? What's Koberger doing, Gray? Also living with them was a distant relative, Albert P. Cochran. Pauline had been a foster child and had lived with Albert at his parents' home in Oakland, Maine. In 1960... No, he got out because there's no reason he got out. He got sentenced to 50 to 75 years, and he got out after 7 to 11. I mean, what kind of a ridiculous... Shouldn't it be 50, then you can start looking? Initially, Albert admitted to killing his wife. So in 1960, 21-year-old Albert married 15-year-old Patricia Ann Sinclair. And they moved to Joliet, Illinois by 1964. The couple had separated, and she lived with their 3 kids. So these are all his kids. I mean, he killed them all. Family annihilator. And don't say, oh, it's just like Chris Watts. Maybe it's a little bit. In February of the same year, Patricia was found strangled in her apartment, and all 3 kids had been stabbed to death. Initially, Albert admitted to killing his wife. However, he claimed he had done so after finding out she had murdered their kids. Authorities were skeptical of this, as Patricia did not have any blood on her. Though he eventually admitted to also killing his kids, the child murder charges were dropped on a technicality. Nevertheless, he was still sentenced to 50 to 75 years in prison for murdering his 19-year-old wife. After serving 11 years, he was paroled. That makes no sense to me. In 1976, Albert moved back to Fairfield, Maine, and began working for his brother's construction company. He soon became romantically involved with Pauline and moved into her trailer. Yeah, but, so how do we know if she really... I mean, some stories say that she didn't want to date him. Pauline knew of his past, so now apparently she believed he was being truthful when he said he had found his children murdered and killed his wife out of rage. Albert and Pauline had occasional fights, but according to Honey, they weren't violent. On November 23, 1976, a 30-year-old nurse was forced into a car in the parking lot of a supermarket in Oakland, Maine. Janet Baxter, who had a 7-year-old daughter, was driven to Kennebec River and raped. After being shot in the head and chest, her body was left in the trunk of a car. While authorities investigated the murder, Albert became obsessed with the case. When Pauline's sister Joy Card visited them for Thanksgiving, he had dozens of newspaper clippings about the murder around the trailer. Joy spoke to Pauline about it, and she admitted that she had suspicions of him because he would not stop speaking about it. Her suspicions were raised when Albert made Pauline and Honey visit the crime scene 10 times away from their trailer. While there, Pauline confronted him about him and he got mad. After their visit to the murder scene, the couple arguments worsened and became more frequent. Maine State Police considered Albert a suspect in the murder and wanted Pauline to possibly become a witness against him. Pauline was scheduled to be questioned by authorities. On the morning of December 15th, Honey woke up and got ready for school as usual. Pauline was in bed, lying on her side. She was not moving, and Honey assumed she was sleeping. Albert and Pauline had been fighting the night before. Honey gave her mother a kiss goodbye and left for the day. When she returned from school, her mother was gone. Honey asked Albert where Pauline was, and he said she would be back later. She never did come back, and Honey's aunt came from Vermont to take care of her. After a couple of days of not hearing from Pauline, her sister reported her missing to authorities. Honey moved to Vermont with her aunt and stopped speaking to Albert. Honey believes her mother was dead in the morning she said goodbye. She also believes Albert killed her while they were fighting. Though he has never admitted to killing Pauline, he told authorities her body was in a well. Several wells in the area were examined, but there were no signs of any remains. Authorities believe he is guilty, but were not able to find any concrete evidence. How dare they say they think he's guilty? What about innocent until proven guilty, you bastards? Albert moved to Fort Lauderdale and then Stuart, Florida, where he married a woman named Kathy. He had a job as a cabinet maker, but was forced to retire after having a heart attack and needing several surgeries in the early 1990s. In 1998, authorities were able to match Albert's hair to the semen found in Janet Baxter. Man, that's so amazing they stored that semen from 1976. Man, that guy should get a medal. He was arrested and police took advantage of this to try and get him to confess to the killing of Pauline, but he refused to. Albert was sentenced to life in prison for Janet's murder. He died in 2017 at the age of 79. Honey has never stopped searching for her mother. She wants to find her remains in order to have some closure. If you have any information, call Maine State Police at 207-624-7143. Pauline Rourke is believed to be deceased. Nevertheless, she has been missing for 44 years. Well, there you go, you guys. Wasn't that interesting? That was one of those old school types. Well, I thought it was crazy about that as I was really just looking at the missing person Pauline Rourke, and then it led back to all that other crap. I mean, just unbelievable. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. What do you think of that? But it was cool to get back, on the saddle again after missing a few days. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was looking at her case, and then it talked about how she had a roommate, and I don't know. I don't even know how it got back to the first one in 64, 64. That's interesting now. If it was 64 and he did 11, he's just barely got out when he killed Baxter. Maybe a year. Yeah, so thanks to the Broken Scout at the beginning there, and then Wise Child, Georgina Stoliker, Christy B., Eugenie, Timothy Cecil, Karen Andrews, the Broken Scout with a cat eye there, and then Chris 22, Danielle Basayo, and then it was Karen Andrews, 14 months, thank you, Amber Maiden, Valerie H., Allie K., Mama 457 Rose, Amber Maiden, Cindy J, Peter Chris 22, Linda Howell, and then out of the past came Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history. Then Cheryl, Ivan Victor, Charisma 24 months, Ivan Victor, Mama 457 Rose, Wise Child, Rosie Girl, Circa then, around that time, Quietly Frozen again, Tamster, and then Sandra Halford, 25 months, and WNC Granny. So thanks, you guys. Yeah, well, I hope you, it'd be good to see you around again, Quietly Frozen. I mean, we always had these old freaks that were always here all the time. And some of them are still here, but, I mean, I know some of them want to be here, but, I mean, I've actually communicated with some of them. Like they're just doing other things. Like Billy Juliana, Mag, she's around, but, and then haven't seen, Stacy comes in every once in a while. Yeah. Ugh. So thanks everybody. I guess we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing day number 3 of the, because we got to the goal of the Troconis, Michelle Troconis trial, but that'll be on Wednesday because we're a day behind because we shortened it all up. So I'll be playing that during the daytime. Alright. Man, you guys are just so... There's no typing. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see it. Yeah. I mean, I hope you guys found that at least mildly interesting. I know it's reading newspapers, but it's kind of... I thought it was pretty interesting. Probably abducted her right out of her vehicle at this mall and just took her right over here. Because if her car was facing the river, it's got to be just right off the... I don't know, maybe took her to a park or something. That can't be right there. Does it keep going the other direction? No, it just kind of stops right there. Yeah, I mean, I guess way over here. I mean, I could have been right in this park right here, too. That actually makes more sense. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Blue and Chloe, there they are. Look at that. Wow, look at Blue. Look at I think he needs to sleep more on his side. He looks like he struggles a little bit like that. He's so tired. Look at him. Yeah, they look like they're pretty comfortable. Anyways, alright. See you guys. Be safe out there. And happy birthday up there to Dan again. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a
Crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector.
Good to see you
Gonna
quietly,
get
folks.
ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Hooroo!
Yeah, so I'll just
Hooroo,
right
Dan!
All right, everybody. Talk to you later.
Yeah, hooroo. All right, everybody. Be safe out there.